Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2. And peace and blessings be upon you and your family this afternoon. Now, for this afternoon, we are going to go ahead and get into The Lies My Teacher Told Me by James Lowen. We are currently in chapter number 2, which is entitled 1493. We're currently talking about the true importance of Christopher Columbus. So without further ado, take number 9 reads as such. Now really, Nina, Pinta, and Santa Maria were not storm-battered. To make a better myth, the textbook authors want the voyage to seem harder than it was. So they invert bad weather. Columbus' own journal reveals that these 3 ships enjoyed lovely sailing. Seas were so calm for days at a time. Sailors were able to converse from one ship to another. Indeed, the only time they experienced even moderately high seas was on the last day, when they knew they were near land. Interesting. Just when you about to get ready to make it to the land, or just when you about to get ready to make it to where you about to be, maybe a plane that is some turbulence. Almost there. You almost about to make it. I don't know, I just thought I'd add that little tad bit while we're reading about this. We're going to continue on though. To make a better myth, to make the trip seem longer than it was, most of the textbooks overlook Columbus stole power in the Canary Islands. The voyage across the unknown Atlantic took 1 month, not 2. To make a better myth, the textbooks describe Columbus's ships as tiny and inefficient, when actually, these 3 vessels were fully suited to his purpose. As naval author Pietro Barozzi has pointed out. To make a better myth, several textbooks exaggerate the crew's complaints into a near mutiny. The primary sources differ. Some claim the sailors threatened to go back home if they didn't reach land soon. Threatening to go back home if they didn't reach land soon. How was they going to go back home? They're on the water. Unless they got another boat. They're going to travel back. I'm thinking, you just going to jump off the boat? You're going to swim back to where you got to go? Anyway, let's continue on. If they didn't reach land soon. So maybe got a little frustrated while traveling, going somewhere. You're going to make it there. But sometimes while you're traveling, may get a little frustrated in the midst of traveling if you actually can't see where you're going. Actually don't know where you're going, but you just got to keep going. Okay. Other sources claim that Columbus lost heart and that the captains of the other 2 ships persuaded him to keep on. Still other sources suggest that the 3 leaders met and agreed to continue on for a few more days and then reassess the situation. After studying the matter, Columbus's biographer, Samuel Eliot Morison, reduced the complaints to merely griping. They were all getting on each other's nerves, as happened even nowadays. So much for the crew's threat to throw Columbus overboard. Such exaggeration is not entirely harmless. Another archetype lurks below the surface, that those who direct social enterprises are more intelligent than those nearer the bottom. Bill Bigelow, a high school history teacher, has pointed out that the sailors are stupid, superstitious, cowardly, and sometimes scheming. Columbus, on the other hand, is brave, wise, and godly. These portrayals amount to an anti-working class, pro-boss polemic. Indeed, even in 2006, Pageant still characterizes the sailors as a motley crew, even though they now grasp that the world is round. False entries in log of Santa Maria are interpreted to form another piece of the myth. Columbus was a true leader, says a history of the United States. He alerted the records of distances that had covered so the crew would not think they had gone too far from home. Salvador de Riaga, sorry if I said that incorrectly, y'all, but it's Salvador, Salvador, Day, or D-G-E, Madariaga, for the spelling of the name, has persuasively argued that to believe this, we would have to think the others on the voyage were fools. Columbus had no special method, available only to him, whereby distances sailed could be more accurately reckoned than by the other pilots and masters. Indeed, Columbus was less experienced as a navigator than the Pinzon brothers, who captained Nina and Pinta. During the return voyage, Columbus confided in his journal the real reason for the false log entries. He wanted to keep the route to the Indies secret, to make a better myth. Our textbook finds space for many other humanizing particulars. They have the lookout cry, "Tierra," or "land." Most of them tell us that Columbus' first act after going ashore was thanking God for leading them safely across the sea. Even though the surviving summary of Columbus's own journal states only that before them all, he took possession of the island, as in fact he did, for the king and queen, his sovereigns. Many of the textbooks tell of Columbus' three-layer voyages to the Americas, but most do not find space to tell how Columbus treated the lands and the people he discovered. Christopher Columbus introduced two phenomena that revolutionized race relations and transformed the modern world: the taking of the land, wealth, and labor from indigenous people in the Western Hemisphere, leading to their near extermination, and the transatlantic slave trade, which created a racial underclass. I'm looking at our time, and I don't want to stop like in the middle. This is only going to be like a 10-minute read. So for take number 10, we're definitely going to pick up more regarding Columbus and the voyage. And I can look ahead a little bit for y'all. Yeah, we're going to have some pictures in the future that I'm going to show you. And yeah, it's going to take us some takes to get through chapter 2. But just like this voyage, we're going to continue to move, and we'll continue to move through this book. But for you, I want for you to be well, to take care, to be blessed, and be at thy will. I'll talk with you soon. here on Palm Praise 2. So, till next time, later, y'all.